Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special non-numbered edition of the Destiny Community Podcast, brought to you by Blue Microphones. I said it right.
I actually numbered it.
Oh, you numbered it? Okay, well, it's
the title.
It's episode 23 now. Episode 23 special edition.
22 and a half? Can we go with 22 and a half?
22.5.
Yeah. Should I change the title real quick?
I think you should.
22 and a half. 22.5.
22.5 impromptu cast.
Okay. Weekend update of the DCP.
Still weekend update.
Please don't get used to a double upload, because I can only take editing these podcasts so much, but you guys all wanted another episode to discuss the changes that were going to get announced this Friday, and we all decided we'll get together and do it. So as many of you guys know, the Bungie put out a roadmap called The Road Ahead, where they are announcing the last live event for Destiny 1, as well as some very key features, one key feature in particular for the sequel to Destiny. They have not named it. We don't know what it's called yet. We're still just going to call it Destiny 2 for the sake of brevity.
But they're actually talking about a sequel now.
They are talking about a sequel.
So do you guys want to go like paragraph by paragraph?
That's excessive, I think.
There's some very.
I want to.
We need to like think about how much of a landmark this is for them to finally be like, guys.
I know
we're going to say the sequel is coming, because there's been talk about the sequel from the investor calls, and that's it.
No.
That's all we've heard.
In one of the weekly updates, Bungie said they were working on a full-fledged Destiny sequel. This was last year.
Oh, that's true.
So,
it was last year?
Yeah. That was the only mention of it outside of Activision earnings calls. So this is the
1 year later.
1 year later.
All right. So do you guys want to talk about Destiny 2, or do you want to talk about Age of Triumph first?
Age of Triumph, I think.
Yeah. And then we'll move to Destiny 2 stuff.
All right.
Because it's part of that hype train. That,
Age of
going to the hype
Triumph
train.
is coming out in March. We know that for a fact now.
Yes.
There's going to be 3 reveal streams about it. The first is going to be the Age of Triumph reveal on March 8th. The second is going to be the Age of Triumph weekly ritual on the 15th. That's my birthday.
Which is also my birthday.
Holy
Age
crap.
of Triumph
I know,
Sandbox
it's
update.
Double down.
On March 22nd. And then I would expect that on the Tuesday following that, because it's the last Tuesday of the month and the only Tuesday in between the 22nd and the last day of the month, it'd be the 28th, I believe.
Yes.
So it seems like the actual update will come out. The Age of Triumph update will come out on March 28th, although they haven't dated it.
Yeah.
Correct.
I was joking about it being like the 31st.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
True.
That's pretty close. I mean, a lot of us were speculating April, right? I mean, up until probably last week or even last night.
Yeah.
It was... A lot of us were speculating April, and now we know not only is it coming out for sure in March, but we pretty much have a date, and we've got 3 reveal streams to check it out.
Yep, 3 reveal streams. Let's talk about the first one.
Awesome.
Right?
The first one's kind of like the big one, right? Where it's like, this is what's coming in this update. So that's going to be the one where we're finding out what exactly is happening, what raids are returning. We're all kind of assuming that all of the raids are returning based on the image.
Yeah, so
right.
For the image, it has
go to the image.
It has the Praetor, or has a gate. It's a gate lord in front of the Vault of Glass. In addition to that imagery, all of at the very top of the page, there's a crest that has all 4 raid icons in it. There's like a bunch of triangles together. Which represents Vault of Glass. There's 2 swords together, which means Sword of Crota. There's the Taken King symbol, the Oryx symbol in one of them. And then there's what I'm assuming is a bunch of Siva bullshit for the 4th one. And
That's Siva, though.
Also, for the very last image on the page for the Sandbox update reveal, there is a hunter wearing what appears to be some Vex-inspired armor. His leg,
prosthetic leg.
He has like a prosthetic Vex leg. And
that's
a
cool.
mechanical leg.
And also,
it's really cool.
If I remember correctly, this photo is taken inside the Vault of Glass as well. It's
it
just
looks like
it's
it
just
for
before
sure.
you jump down into one of the big areas.
Also, the chest piece looks a little bit like a Minotaur's kind of like spine and chest.
Yeah. So
I'm
we're
excited
thinking
that
new
we're
Vault of
getting
Glass
new
gear?
armor. Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah.
What if it has
Vault
ornaments
inspired
too?
Vault and Glass gear.
I'm assuming it's going to have ornaments.
Yeah,
they
I
got
would
this
assume
ornament
so as
system,
well.
right? Wouldn't it be a little weird if they just abandoned that completely?
I would expect
Yeah.
at least chroma, right? At least some glowy chroma.
Yeah, glowy chrome. Do you think they're actually going to give us new weapons with this stuff? Like in the raid?
That's a good question, Teft.
I don't know.
If they're giving us new armor, right? Like everybody, I think, assumed that if we got the old raids back at a higher light level, they'd kind of maybe redo the old armor. In fact, there's another set of VOG armor that we've never seen.
Right, the
That's
fabled
true.
blue armor.
Now that we're seeing a different set of what we think is probably VOG armor, could we possibly see a different set of VOG weapons as well?
Entirely possible, I think.
Yeah.
However, with the amount of resources that I think they have tied up doing the sequel or Destiny 2, I feel like we're not going to see anything crazy new. We could definitely see some stuff where they kind of model bash and take the older Vault of Glass stuff and then add little bits and pieces to it to signify that it's new. But I don't think we'll
This
see...
armor is new.
Yeah, this armor
It's
is very new.
Yeah, it's very new.
The hunter that we're seeing, it looks at first I was fooled because it looked like the claws of Ahamkara with his left.
Same. I thought that too.
That's
but
what I thought
I don't
too,
think
yeah.
it is. Yeah, I think it's something else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it looks very cool in that the leg really stands out because it looks like a model swap. It doesn't look like armor on a leg. It looks like a
leg.
robotic leg,
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is different than what we've seen in the past.
Well, have we seen new armor coming? We have seen new armor coming from live updates, right?
Oh yeah,
sure.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
So that's not out of the realm of possibility that we're getting a whole new armor set that has been developed for a live team update. That,
Definitely not.
This could also. I mean, the High Moon Studios did the work, or it was either High Moon or the other studio, which I can't for the life of me remember right now.
I think it was High Moon.
Did the work for the Dawning event.
Oh,
those other armor sets were done by that. So it totally is entirely
beautiful.
possible that this could have entirely new weapon models, entirely new armor sets coming.
It could
Guys.
also be that this isn't necessarily the set you get as a reward for VOG. It could be something else. It could be a record
A book. Yeah.
or it could be.
like sterling treasures and stuff. Yeah.
I don't mean to skip ahead, but they say there's going to be the second reveal is going to be the Age of Triumph weekly rituals. It could be rewards for doing weekly rituals that there's the VOG set and then there's a new VOG raid inspired set that you get from running VOG in a weekly ritual.
Guys,
Do you think we're going to get a... Sorry.
I want to just throw this out here.
Okay, go ahead.
What if this is an NPC? That's going to be our quest giver. What if there's a little bit of story and it's going to be going to the raids in the story to to button things up? Because you don't see a warlock and a titan. Usually when they show armor, they give us like a visual of all three, What if this is an NPC and he's got a robotic leg? What if it's an NPC that's going to be giving us all the quest information for this final update into the
This is one of
ascent to Destiny 2?
Caber's original fire team that's...
Right?
Maybe it's Cade. He went to Vault of Glass to go do something, got his leg chopped off. The Vex became his friends and attached a special leg to his leg.
Vex became
And
his
now-
gambling buddies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And now he's here. Now we get to go to Vault of Glass and play poker. I think that's what.
I would love to go gamble in the Vault of Glass.
Yo, I mean, I think didn't Activision buy what's the game company that made Candy Crush? King Games.
Yeah.
They totally
Mobile
have
game confirmed.
Yeah, they totally have like a poker game. I'm sure of it. And then boom, there you go. Watts cracked it open. Watts cracked it wide open.
Yeah, what if it was Praedyth? Like some vision of Praedyth?
Yeah, it could be
through the conflicts.
Yeah, I'm not going to cut out
Praedyth was a hunter.
It can't be Praedyth because Praedyth's skeleton doesn't have a mechanical leg.
The Vault of Glass is like kind of separated from Time Man.
Time
For all
conflux,
we
bruh.
know, this could be him going all Eris Morn and becoming one with the Vex and attempting to live.
Yeah,
and,
but when we find a skeleton, it would still have the
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, not when it's multiple timelines.
Yeah,
multiple timelines. That could be.
yeah.
Jesus.
He's got that Vex
It's getting
milk.
deep.
It would be cool to have NPCs in the raid. It does strike me that this is probably just armor for our guardians, though.
It's
Most
probably just
likely.
alright.
I like the idea that it could be from the weekly Triumph thing, but in one of the paragraphs, reading you some of the activities I've been working on days times. I can't remember exactly where it is in here, but it made it seem like there's going to be, some tasks, because this Age of Triumph is like a much larger scope picture than Moments of Triumphs. We had Moments of Triumphs year 1, Moments of Triumphs year 2, and now this is Age of Triumphs. So I imagine that Age of Triumph is going to have some sort of rewards in it, the same way all the other books have that we've completed. And it could, like you were saying, Briar, this could be some sort of reward from that particular set.
For like completing the whole book or whatever, and you get this super cool Vex leg. Congratulations.
Well, if we've got 4 active raids at current light level, what if they just switched out the weekly raid?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a Nightfall.
Yeah.
That's
and like each week you had a raid to go and complete to get rewards from.
That sounds really likely. I could see that happening.
The only problem I'm having
kinda
with
what I
this
was
whole
assuming.
leg thing is that
It's not Dado's.
excuse me?
It's not Dado's leg.
Well,
the famed Dado leg.
And
Best legs in the biz, for sure.
it's absolutely delicious legs, like the milky white. I mean, all right. So my point is that I don't think the whole concept of armor being something we take on and off and we put on different armor. So does that mean when you equip this leg, you're basically stuck with those pants for the rest of like Destiny? Because you're
including
not switching,
Destiny 2.
You're not switching
maybe you keep
in
your
and
leg.
out. Like, are you going to be one-legged
So
guy?
there's this thing called suspension of disbelief that I think is kind of necessary when you're playing a game about space cowboys shooting fireballs at each other.
My suspension of disbelief gets shattered every time I die from a shot through a wall, Briar. I'm sorry.
True.
Through a mountain in year 1.
Through a mountain.
I just don't think that it's a pair of pants we can put on that have a Vex leg, and then all of a sudden now we're wearing another pair of pants.
That would be weird, right? That would be a little weird to be
weird.
I put on pants and I have a Vex leg. That's a little,
Wilson in chat just
That's what
had
I'm
a
saying.
great idea. What if it's an ornament? What if that leg isn't the ornament for the VOG gear? What if this is the ornamented VOG gear?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, but how are
the
you
more I
going to be
think
able to
about
switch
it,
your pants?
Poe. For crying out,
clicking
for
on
crying
that
out loud,
set
we
of
can come
pants.
back alive. We have swords that like never run out of
Stand by for
ammo.
resurrection.
I literally turn a gun into a beam of golden sun energy. I think we can manage some space magic for a brief amputation.
If it's just a pair of pants that we put on and we have a fake leg, and then we can turn around and put on another pair of pants, the Bones of Ao or whatever, and you have your leg back again, I will delete my warlocks.
So moving on, Age of Triumph, I think, is an interesting name
NPC.
on itself. Just like looking at the name of the Age of Triumph, like this is closing out Destiny, something that Destiny 1. And they've always said that they wanted this to be a hopeful tale, right? Filled with, like hope and whatever adjectives they used. Age of Triumph, right? This is the closing of that age, right? Destiny 1 is coming to a close. The Age of Triumph is coming to a close.
Yep.
And that really fits into what we've been hearing about rumors for Destiny 2 with Cabal possibly taking over the tower. We're going to get the Empire Strikes Back of Destiny, right? Where it's not this hopeful tale anymore. It's much more dark. We're on our heels. We're getting knocked around. Like it fits with that narrative too.
Sure it does.
Yeah. When I read that too, I was like, oh, Age of Triumphs, this is perfect to wrap up this season of Destiny, and following along those exact same lines. I was thinking about perfect to set us up into going into a real desolate experience to launch with Destiny 2. We're having to rebuild everything. Like there's a reason why your stuff gets taken away, which they confirmed now. Your stuff is going away.
Yeah. That's
They
something we
confirmed
also
it.
need to discuss. Yep.
Yeah.
So in the second part of the things that we were going to discuss, there is a paragraph where this feels a lot like in year
Before
1.
we move on to Destiny 2, I'm sorry, can we just talk about there is a third there's going to be a third live stream for the Sandbox update, so it does look like the Sandbox update, part 2 of the previous Sandbox update, is going to come along with this.
With it.
With Age
Now,
of Triumph.
I have some thoughts
Okay.
about there being a Sandbox stream for specifically the Sandbox changes. So we've heard that they're doing some changes to the health regen stuff, right? They're going to buff the amount of health you get for like Red Death and Blade, Hungry Blade, stuff like that, and Scories change, and then some sidearm special ammo change. Do
Keep
you
Cauterize
think...
also, right?
Right.
There's no cooldown now.
Yeah. Do you think that stuff is enough to do like an hour live stream on a sandbox update?
Not really.
So do you think more stuff's coming?
Could
Maybe
be.
they're going to return everything back to year one like they said they would. Like everyone's wanting them to.
Everyone said they want
Everyone,
them
yeah,
to.
not like they said
The
they would.
Doom of Bloom.
The Doom of Bloom? Thorn, two-tapping
gone.
and stuff?
No more Bloom ever.
You mean
Suros,
they're going to realize that
wrecking
if they're going to have special ammo in such a refined or in such a state where that you lose it, then why are we going to have special weapons just kind of nerfed overall, where snipers are just like bleh, shotguns are now pretty crappy in air, and then fusion rifles are not what they were in year one. You know, it'd be really cool. Buff all the specials up to what they were in year one, and then
I would hate to
everything.
see them all come up to year one levels.
Oh,
Like,
let's bring them all up, baby.
I still
Put it all
feel
back.
like if you should be able to fire, like if a guy is running at you with a shotgun down a straight hallway, you should be able to primary him down before he gets to you.
Oh, you'll still be able
And
to.
a sniper rifle should still have flinch. Not as much flinch as they have now, because it's like, it's pretty obnoxious. But when you shoot
but all
somebody
in
in the
all-
face, they shouldn't be able to just headshot you right after that.
Agreed.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. But all in all, aside from being stupid, and that's probably not going to happen. But the having a sandbox stream, I feel there's more happening to our sandbox in
I
March
think I know.
than
Definitely.
what they've said.
I think I know
Tell
one,
us,
one
Tafty.
thing. Light level. We're gonna get a boost in light level. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
420.
420.
420 light.
They
They're
need
gonna
to do
stay.
420.
They're
They
for sure
have
gonna
to.
stay away.
They
They're gonna
have
stay away
to.
from 420.
No, they have
Okay.
to.
You know what I'd love though? Like in all honesty, I'd love it if they really bumped it up to like say 450 or 500. So there was a legit
Oh, Jesus.
light level bump. Well, no, I mean this means content. This means end game. This means a reason to go into those raids and get more light level stuff. Because I don't want like if it was 420 legitimately, it would be funny, but also incredibly easy to achieve really fast with all the stuff that you can do. If they made it 500 now, and I'm sure they're not going to do 500, but let's just say they made 500, and every reward only gave you say between 1 to 5 light levels above where you're at right now, then that would be a long journey.
What
Or
if
a decent journey.
they kept everything like that you could buy or get in the current stuff the same light level, and the only way to achieve this higher light, whether it's 420 or 450 or whatever, is by doing the newly revised content? Like that's the only place the new high light level stuff would drop.
And then you can just infuse it.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with that as well.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That they
Yeah.
do that same sort of gating with Prison of Elder stuff, and then
Yeah.
the light. It's current that would fit consistently. That would be consistent
Yeah.
with what they already do.
Forever 29 was a meme and people hated it, but it did motivate you to go to do that Vault of Glass every week.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now, I understand for solo players it's a lot more friendly, but man, like, what's the motivation to go and do raids and nightfalls?
Yeah.
Aside from just like seeing the content, I guess, and even Nightfall is just a harder version of a strike.
Yeah, but a raid, like seeing the content, you do it once or twice and you've seen it.
I mean,
I
that's
prefer it to
why I
be
don't do
something
raids.
astronomical, like a 600 light level, and just let's go.
That's what I'm saying. If there was a legit climb for a light level to keep you busy with all 4 raids, I would be my motivation level would skyrocket.
Time to start saving those strange coins and motes of
Sure.
light and all that stuff again.
Exactly. Everything would feel useful again for economy.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, yeah, I want to do the Vault,
Start
Crota,
buying that
King's
heavy
Fall.
Personally, I don't like it. That type of change where you would increase a light level substantially would need to come with some sort of other substantial change with it as well, like changing the fights at that higher level to warrant.
Well, I'm
you
assuming
even-
they would be difficult.
Yeah, well, and not just simple delta scaling. Like, okay, these enemies are now, scaled for this level of light. You have to get to that to beat it. Well, if there's no difference between beating the hard mode fight now and then the scaled up version.
Okay. So what would the stepping stones? Like right now we have strikes and some PvP activities to be stepping stones towards getting light level appropriate for the raid. If they were to implement a system, like how would you see it working? If they could have if we had a higher light level to work towards, how would they make it so it would still make sense?
You save up all your heavy ammo and you go to the vendors at the tower and you purchase a bunch of stuff over and over again till you get higher light level ghosts and artifacts and Isn't that how you
Decrypt
guys do
some
it?
exotic engrams.
You run
That's how I do
strikes
it.
for 18 hours a day.
And then you're light level 5,000.
Yeah,
I
well,
want
like
to see. I want to see like an average. I want to see another way of getting to those higher light levels. Maybe not as efficiently, but definitely something that you can.
it's
progress
already
without having to do it.
it's already pretty inefficient if you're wanting to get to max light without running raids or doing Iron Banner or like that. That's basically it.
I like the current light level progression that they have right now. I think it's a good job. I think they did a good job, and I'd like to see, like Tefty's saying, a super high light level and have us just work our way up.
Okay, so what if it was this? Let's say they did do a big jump, and I'm gonna stick with the 500 just as for example.
Okay.
So they normalize all normal raids to 420 or 430. You know, they're probably gonna say what 420, and then heroic is 460. But then the weekly raid, because they're talking about these weekly events, you know?
Yeah.
True.
What was it? Yeah, weekly weekly rituals. Let's say each week there is a raid selected as the ritual, and that is max light level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a nightfall raid.
Right?
That would be awesome. Wouldn't that be awesome?
So
That'd be pretty cool.
Come on.
it would have. It would also have to give like some sort of unique reward, and not just light level relevant gear. It couldn't just
Well,
give.
it could give out that gear that we're seeing right
Well,
there.
yeah, maybe that's where you get the new armor from,
Okay.
and like
The
the,
new
new
hotness.
weapons when it's on the weekly. Yeah, the new hotness.
Yeah,
exactly.
because otherwise
Yeah.
it's just the No Man's Sky situation of why am I playing the game? I'm playing the game to upgrade, my ship
But
so I
that's-
can carry more stuff, so I can.
That's what you
carry
have
more
right now,
stuff.
though.
I know that's exactly what we have right now. So if they just upgrade the light level with the expectation of people will grind light to higher light level while doing the same content, yeah, people will do it, but it's not.
Well, that's
a good
the problem we
reason.
have right now, isn't it, Patrick? Is that
Yeah.
currently there's no real
No,
reason to
no, absolutely.
upgrade to max light, because I guess Trials of Osiris is that reason for PvP players. But like for me, once I beat the raid at, I don't know, what was I, 385 or something like that on hard mode, I was like, well, my grinding is over.
Yeah.
I literally could not give a shit about what my light level is
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean that's the current situation that is in the game, and so if they just do that, there needs to be more there, which I highly doubt we'd see anything substantial. We probably would see a light level increase with the expectation that players would go for it because it is a light level increase, and we just want something to do, and making a number tick up is definitely one of those things.
Yeah, big numbers are better.
Yeah.
They are. The biggest problem with Rise of Iron was it was just a little bit of a bump. That's all. Actually,
Do you
What
think
did it go
there's going to
from?
be any new weapons?
It went from 335 to 400.
335 to 400. Okay, so the biggest problem with it was that the exotic engrams destroyed our
Yeah.
leveling progress.
Yeah, that and heavy ammo.
Yeah.
Being able to just buy stuff from the vendors.
Well, I mean, are we going to see any new exotic weapons? Is what I was saying.
I hope the 3 that we don't have right now that are year 1.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to get the Vex Myth class and
Mythoclast, Pocket, Infinity, Necrochasm.
Necrochasm.
Yeah.
Any new ones like that fabled heavy?
The
that
Dubious
we
Volley?
haven't-
The Dubious Volley.
That'd be great.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe
Why-
that could
why
be the
not?
reward for doing the weekly on the current raid.
What do you think it shoots? I mean, we've talked about it in the past, but I mean, what do you think? I thought for
volley
sure
of
it
awesome-
should be.
It shoots a volley of dubious rounds as it states,
Dubious.
Pope.
I
God,
thought it was
some
going to be like
conniving
the
rounds.
eye, from
Like an
the list-
ogre
the
eye.
Ogre
Laser.
eye. I thought
People-
it was
people
gonna
thought
be
it
an
was gonna be
ogre
that.
eye,
Can
but-
you imagine standing there and you're like, "Dee."
Just carving
That'd
out the
be
mountain with your ogre eye.
awesome.
Do you guys think
I'd
that
love
we're
that.
going to get like a vendor refresh with this?
I'm expecting it.
I hope so.
we
I don't
didn't get it
I'm-
with the April update last time.
Yeah, we did.
Huh? No, we didn't.
Didn't we?
No, we didn't get a vendor
think so.
update with
Oh,
April update. I don't. There's no
Yeah,
precedent
you're
set
right.
for
You're
it,
right. You're right.
so I don't believe we will. Is it? And frankly, like as much as I think it would be good to get a vendor reset, I just don't think it's needed either. I mean, a vendor, like resetting the roles or just adding new weapons.
The cats are fighting.
I'd like to see new weapons, but that seems like a stretch. But
Well-
at least new roles.
New rolls
Yeah.
would be cool.
Or what if they did this? They just brought back old weapons from year 1 and 2 that used to be vendor weapons.
I could agree with that.
I'd be really happy with
that.
Yeah,
I could see that happening where no new like real work as far as making new weapons, but just bringing old stuff that players have liked, because they've stated before this is an expansion about nostalgia, and I think it would
best of.
And
can you imagine going to a vendor and seeing like 3 little words and all of the old weapons that you used to use, but now they're current light? That would be really cool.
Yeah,
that'd be
super cool.
That would be.
Yeah,
and all of them
those
have
are
like
weapons
good
that they've
rolls on
already
them.
made.
That'd be nice.
So...
Yeah, exactly. It's like
and
already
then
there,
and then allow you to re-roll your weapons too.
Oh my god, pure madness, utter madness.
I say.
I don't ever want to see that come back.
I'm telling you, the best way to do a reroll process is make the cost of it exponentially more expensive every time you reroll. That solves it. You know,
that's true. So you only have like a certain amount that you can do before you're like, well, I can't carry that much glimmer on me.
Yeah,
exactly.
Before it literally costs more glimmer than you can get.
Just keep on doubling it.
Yeah, if you reroll it once and to double down, you have to double down every time.
Every single time.
Oh,
would it cost glimmer or legendary marks?
Yes.
Both.
Yeah, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Both.
Before we transition over into the Destiny sequel stuff, there is one small remark I want to make, and it's I really hope that like going forward in content past the sequel, that in Destiny 1, I think the community was kind of in like this understanding of, okay, Bungie's working on something else, so we're kind of okay with some stuff, where with like content updates being, here's a bunch of stuff that's brought forward and then a little dabble of something else brought up. I'm really hoping that in the sequel that it's new. It's just like always all new. And not, this, it's not lazy to do it, but it's, you're relying on the goodwill of players a hell of a lot when you continually just update old content to like current light levels. And it does get old. We've had it for 3 years now, and I think that if the sequel to Destiny is supposed to be its own unique game and unique experience, I think that's one thing that we could definitely forego never having again, is that style of content drop from Bungie.
Yeah, even seeing reskinned weapons is pretty disappointing. It was disappointing even when we saw it in like the Dark Below.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I really hope I kind of I forgive Bungie a lot because of the fact that it was on last gen. So every time stuff like this I think about, I'm like, well, you have to consider that the hardware constraints were very serious for them to launch on 4 platforms. But if they continue that trend in Destiny 2, I'm completely with you, Pat. Like they need to forego that trend and make sure they give us new non-reskinned content every single time they do updates, because it's immediately noticeable, and the first people to leave are the ones who are going to notice that right away. They're going to be like, oh, this is a reskin, I'm out.
Not just weapons and armor, but like levels and stuff. How many times have we gotten new content that's been basically going in reverse through a level we've played 1,000 times?
Yeah. How many times I got to kill Omnigul?
Right.
I want to silence her once and for all.
We silence that scream so much now. Come on now.
That day is coming. What if she's like a raid boss?
That'd be so funny. We're just going pure nostalgic and all like the notable bosses.
Save that now. For year 7. Have all the bosses that people quote unquote loved, which we actually hated, and like, hey, here we go, guys, and make that like a dawning update. Yeah, that's fine then. You've let it leave the taste of our mouths before you bring it back.
Somebody asked me today, would I like to see like some of the original Destiny like exotics and stuff come back in Destiny 2? I was like, God, no. We've been playing for 3 years with these fucking guns. Don't you want to play with something new? Like maybe in Destiny 5, like bring back some of like the all-time bests. But I do not want to see the Gallahorn or the Last Word or any of these things in Destiny 2. I want brand new stuff.
I do.
I'll tell you what the proper cooldown for that is. Roughly 3 years. After 3 years, content from Destiny 1 could possibly get introduced into the whatever Destiny is at that point, because it would be nostalgic. It's been 3 years. It'd be like, oh, it's so nice to see that gun. But a year, way too soon. 2 years, people are going to complain about it. But by the 3rd year, it's like, oh, sweet. I love that map.
Like minimum Destiny 3. I don't want to see anything from Destiny 1 return in Destiny 2.
No.
Minimum Destiny 3.
I want new stuff. I want new stuff.
And then very sparingly.
Yep.
Because we just got a quest for like Gustav and Galahorn, right? Like that was touching and that was good. But can they pull from that well again? Especially with those two weapons?
Nope. We need new.
Got to get that new. Should we talk about Destiny 2? Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and read the whole paragraph.
Do it.
Sequels represent the start of a new adventure for every player, with new worlds to explore, new stories to tell, new powers to acquire, new loot to earn, and much more. This led us to a decision that would enable us to serve both the game and the player's best interest. Destiny 1 power, possessions, and Eververse-related items and currency will not carry forward. They will, however, remain accessible to you in Destiny 1. We know that just like us, you have grown fond of your guardians you've created, so we do plan to preserve your character personalization. We are going to recognize the dedication and passion you've shown for this world, specifically the class, race, gender, face, hair, and marking selections for all characters that achieved level 20 and completed the Black Garden story mission will carry forward. We also plan to award those veteran accounts with honors that reflect your Destiny 1 accomplishments. So,
which we don't know what those are yet.
We don't know what those are.
So everyone, take a chill pill for 2 seconds. Let's wait. They will tell us what those will be at some point. Maybe it'll be amazing.
I bet it won't be until after Destiny 2 releases, because my guess is, are we going to have emblems? Are we going to have shaders in Destiny 2?
We have no idea.
Right, exactly.
They're going to give everybody who did year 1, they're going to give in Destiny 2 a Fatebringer.
They're going to give us a Chatterwhite.
We're going to have a special Vex leg.
Yeah, Vex
You can
leg.
tell a year
They're
one
going to give
by
us a
that Vex
Chatterwhite and a
leg.
Time Breaker.
The murmur.
So this is a relatively hot topic for a lot of people. What do you guys think about the non-transfer of emotes? How they're staying in Destiny 1. So everything that you paid for in Destiny 1, I can see the sparrows and all that staying, and like the flaming head and all that, and the ghost, but the emotes seem like they're not that difficult to transfer over to another, archetype dancing around.
Yeah,
so what do you guys think about that?
I paid for these in Destiny 1. If I bought something in Mass Effect 1, I don't expect to have it in Mass Effect 2. If I bought something in Mass Effect 2, I don't expect to see it in Mass Effect 3.
I mean,
Destiny 2 is a sequel. It's not World of Warcraft expansion, right? It's a new game.
It's a new
sequel.
game.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
It's the same kind of argument as, well, why should I even bother doing this content that's coming out if everything's just going to be gone? And it's because you are enjoying Destiny 1. Yeah. Like, everything that you purchased, everything that you got, you are enjoying in Destiny 1. You're going to do the new Vault of Glass and get all that armor and grind for that because you are enjoying Destiny 1.
Yeah.
It's not like, I want to do this so I can keep it forever. It's so you just have fun with the current game that you're playing.
Exactly. And it's done that. If I buy upgrades for my BMW 3 Series, then an upgrade to a 5 Series, I don't expect all those upgrades to be retrofit to my 5 Series. I'm getting something new. Like, all that stuff gets left behind.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. I think obviously because it's a digital game and they were talked about how it was a 10-year lifespan, that people are going to feel certain connections towards the thing that they purchased, obviously. But at the same time, I completely see the point that it's a new game. It's Destiny 2. It's a sequel.
Yeah.
At the same time, Bungie kind of were quoted very early on, I think in an IGN interview, saying, your characters will carry over in the game. Which, if we're being I know, if we're being 100% just like looking at the words only, just the words, yes, our characters are transferring over. But I think people had this expectation as well of, when we think our characters, we think also all the shit our characters are carrying with them. And all that they've, earned.
I never had that expectation. I never had that.
See,
I feel like that's somebody reading something into statement and they're putting their own wishes and demands into a statement that is actually fairly clear.
Well, see, the only real thing that I had experience with was, MMOs. And then when a sequel comes out, well, not a sequel, but an expansion, which is, no one knew what Destiny really was at the start either. Was it an MMO? Was it a first-person shooter? So people were, seeing it had all these RPG aspects. So I think a lot of people definitely kind of assumed that, when Taken King came out, okay, so here's the first big expansion. So everything else is going to be just big expansions and stuff like that. But as time went on, people also kind of realized that the game if Destiny really wants to survive and grow, it needs to have like a stopping point for Destiny 1. And it needs to have like, this is the new shit. This is what we're going to play. Yeah. Or this is what we're promoting now. And we're leaving the past behind kind of thing. So... yeah, I can totally understand this change.
I think a big part of that is Bungie itself didn't realize where they were going to be in 3 years. Yeah. So this is their own coming to fruition journey through their own project and realizing where they need to be at this point and having to let go of certain things in Destiny 1.
Them giving us this message, it feels very reminiscent of House of Wolves with they just straight up said, no raid.
Yeah.
Gonna be no raid.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect messaging because you want to get it out of the way before you do your big, like, let's say it's an E3 reveal. Get the stuff that's going to get under people's skin out of the way.
Yeah.
And then do your fucking massive reveal. And all those people have, they've exhausted themselves complaining about this shit.
It's like out of their
those
mind.
Those voices
too,
are silent now.
Do you think we're still going to see a lot of the features in Destiny 2 that we see in Destiny 1? Like some of the things that we've fought for throughout the year?
Like what?
Years? Well, what are some of the things that we've been asking for in since year 1?
Private matches?
Yeah, private matches.
SRL?
Probably the big one.
SRL, right? What else?
60 frames per second.
No, I mean that we got, Briar, that we got. Vault space?
Tears.
Vault space.
Yeah, Vault space.
I get at least 3 to 5 questions on Twitter every week. When I ask for the Twitter questions, at least 3 to 5 every week about Vault space. I only stopped asking them because I felt like you guys were getting sick of hearing it.
We were.
But it is a major concern for, especially now, if we're getting another expansion that's, with more armor and more weapons, that's a major concern.
I'm hoping there's a raid kiosk.
That'd be nice.
So either a kiosk or more vault space. Because at this point, come on, we got to have more vault space.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Tough.
It is. It's very tough.
Well, I think that. All right, so there's some questions that I have, and I know we have a DLC coming and then Destiny 2. But I'm thinking of some of the things that were fought for in Destiny 1 and what are they going to look like in Destiny 2. And I'm thinking of also some of the game modes, right? Do you think we're
Are you asking, do we think they're going to take some of the features out of Destiny that have been added to it over time? Like
really
private matches?
Like something. I mean, what is everything? My question is more general.
I could see SRL disappearing.
Do you think we're going to get everything in Destiny 1 as far as features to move over to Destiny 2?
No.
Or do you think that they've scrapped it and are making a totally new game?
The only feature...
I think there's plenty of things that could be scrapped. I think the whole Xur system could be scrapped very easily. I think the Motes of Light system,
that'd be awesome.
The Strange Coin system, the Glimmer system,
primary weapon ammo,
any of the... Yeah, the way the separation between primaries, secondaries, and heavies, that whole system could be totally shaken up. Everything could be shaken up. This is a sequel. It's a different game.
Yeah,
and hopefully making a better system for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Do you think that if they had to, say they started... I'm just being devil's advocate here, so if anybody's in chat's already roasting me, just relax. All right, so let's assume that they're starting over and making a new game. Does that mean that we are I don't know, man. I'm not going to be. I'm not.
They can't take away stuff that we. They can't take away stuff that we feel like we fought for. I think if they released Halo 2 and it had less features than Halo 1, that would have been a big problem. But no, it had more features, and then Halo 3 added on top of that. In my opinion, a sequel, it better be superior to the original.
I think what you need to keep in mind is that they're making Destiny 2, the sequel, with an engine in mind that can support what they want to do with it. They did not have that with Destiny.
So my devil's advocate thing here is that sometimes you need to prune a tree for it to grow back stronger. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So what if the lessons they learned from Destiny 1 required them to remake the engine and, in a sense, prune back the tree so that it can grow larger? I mean,
I'd be okay with that if it hadn't been delayed for a year.
Okay.
At this point, I expect a full game. I do not expect another
for sure.
a beta feeling experience.
I don't want to wait a year
vanilla.
for private matches. I don't want to wait a year for private matches. Like features that
2 years.
2 years for private matches. Features that clearly worked, I want to see improved upon. Raids are one of the biggest draws to Destiny. Let's improve upon that. You know, one of the things I think that the community's always requested is it would be really fucking sweet if there was some sort of way to communicate with other players in the game so we could match up for raids. Like that's something that could be improved upon in the game. You know, so you can take away features, but only if what's remaining is improved.
And also a Crucible experience that has a significantly better netcode.
Hey, there it is.
I'm
my room temperature water.
If it's still peer-to-peer and there's Red Bar Warriors, then I fear for the future.
There is going to be Red Bar Warriors in every multiplayer game you play. It doesn't matter if it's peer-to-peer or if it's server-based.
If you're on a dedicated server and you're lagging, if you're on a dedicated server and you're lagging, you physically stop and you get affected for your lag.
It depends. It depends on the game and how they've implemented.
Yeah, it totally depends on how it's implemented, and it also depends on if you're running private servers or public. Like, are these servers being run by the game manufacturer? Are they being run privately, like where they boot people who have bad connections?
Well, I mean, what do you want to see? Because like we don't.
I don't
know
think we're going to see
now.
private servers.
I don't think we will.
No.
What I do think is that the current netcode system and everything that we know that was a carryover from that was like basically one of the few things that they absolutely kept from Reach, from whatever the hell the engine was named back then to whatever the hell it's named now.
I don't think we're gonna see some of the shit that they made later on in the game. I don't think we're gonna see in Destiny 2 because they started making Destiny 2 a long ass time ago.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that's not.
Oh, you're thinking the roads have forked pretty widely at this point.
Like what features though, Pope? Like give me an example, because like if you're talking SRL, I completely agree. If you're talking private matches, no way. It'd be fucking retarded.
What else? What else is there? You know, like that implemented late, right? And I'm just buffering.
Well, to answer your question, I'd be very disappointed if they got rid of private matches, and I wouldn't give a shit if they got rid of SRL.
Yeah.
What else was? What else came? Like, at what point did? My point is at what point did they start the split? And I think that if we went back to that point, we can start seeing the paths go off to a place where they could not come back. Like they've already made the game.
We know that we know that they started working on Rise of Iron like January of 2016. That was basically the figure that they've been throwing around a bunch. And, you know, hypothetically, if private matches were implemented by the live team into the game then, I'm pretty sure they had the manpower. I would hope so, with like 90% of the studio on it. I would hope that they have some people there that could implement private matches into the game that would be 2 years out from that point.
I would be shocked and dismayed, Pope. If they didn't
I would be like, Bungie must all be high if there's no private matches.
Yeah.
Like that would be so weird to have something like fought for so long
on up
and then
there?
just be like,
they got that dank weed.
All right,
well,
they are blazing so hard.
That's just me
Jesus.
obviously that's me, you know, peeing in the punch bowl. You know, just
how
just
dare
to get,
you
know, whatever. Is that even a saying? So
I think
is it. So anyway, I guess my concern is that we're looking at more features in the game, and I'm thinking of the prune tree analogy that.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Pope, but I think they got to do it in a smart way. Like I said, like SRL, you know, fucking take it or leave it. Who really gives a shit about SRL?
There's a lot of people who give a shit
Somebody's
about
gonna be
SRL.
in the comments. Somebody's going to be in the comments like, Briar's an asshole. SRL is the best thing about Destiny.
Yes, of course.
SRL is life. Jesus.
But like, you know, comparing that to like private matches, which is, even though I bet less people do private matches than do SRL, I think it's more core to the game because of the tournaments and because of, you know, like getting friends together to goof around, to do, you know, dodgeball or whatever dumb thing.
Testing and all that,
You know, I think for Destiny's future, frankly, it just makes sense to have that in there, like if they want to move ahead with MLG and if they want to move ahead with Destiny in a competitive realm, you got to have private matches.
If they want the game to grow. And
I
if
don't
they
think
want
that
the
they
game to
disagree
grow,
with you. I was just throwing it out there.
I know.
What about ranked playlists or
Yeah.
like
I want it so bad.
Yeah,
I don't know
right?
if it's gonna
Are
come.
we going to get all
but
of
it
the
would
same
be
the same game modes even?
I don't think so.
I don't think.
It's gonna be condensed for sure. They have to.
I could see Clash and Control being stables in Rumble, those being the same, but then Rift is a
Supremacy
question
is gonna
mark.
stay.
Yep.
Supremacy, you think is going to stay? Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it staying. It's not really dependent on the map like Rift is. So yeah, like things like that can stay. I imagine I could see them taking away salvage.
Yeah,
I'd also
salvage
be
could go
shocked
away.
if there wasn't custom matches in Destiny 2. Like really shocked.
Custom as
Even
in
though
like
it's not
setting,
in
You're
Destiny.
doubling down on that, huh?
setting game
Dude,
parameters and stuff.
No,
It
custom's
is
different.
Such
Yeah.
a
I know.
boon to the player base. Having custom matches, being able to like say, okay, every gun's a one-shot kill. Okay, we're creating new rules. We're making grift ball. We're doing this. We're doing that. And then Destiny, Bungie can look at those playlists like they did with Halo and make them real game types. Pick the best, make them a game type for a week. Like it's such a boon to
community
allow
playlists.
for community built content. I'd be fucking shocked.
What,
if they
when
don't
you
have
say
it.
that stuff, it gets me excited to think about possibly map creation. And man, I don't expect this at all. Maybe 2 years down the road or something. But if we get to a place where Destiny 2's engine can actually support user-created maps and then those custom game modes as well being in there, like that is going to be a entirely another level
I would-
of end game type of stuff that could happen.
I would be eternally streaming map creation. I would just be a map creator.
It would
yeah,
it would-
the sky's
it
the
would
limit.
create an endless amount of content.
Yep.
Like the community would just constantly be creating content. So during these content droughts that are so bad for Destiny, so detrimental, they just would be so. The impact would be so lessened by having community created content. And man, if they don't have this on the roadmap for maybe not Destiny 2 because I feel like they're under the gun to get Destiny 2 out.
Yeah.
But for Destiny 3, if this isn't a top priority for Destiny 3, I feel like that's poor prioritization.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're on an hour now.
Just
Yep.
about.
Is there anything we didn't cover in the update?
We didn't cover these wild mics and headphones because no doubt you've noticed these. Do I have to do that for a special episode?
I don't know.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about
it's
bringing
22
We
and a
forward.
should mention we're sponsored by.
I did at the start.
Max and
Blue, if
headphones.
you're listening right
I
now.
wanted to bring
I'm
forward
sorry.
the fact that you are keeping the class, race, gender, face, hair,
Yes.
and marking. So
Does everybody
that
have
makes
that?
me wonder. Okay, so you're going to have these characters that you bring forward, right? And then they're going to get these honors based on your year one or your Destiny 1 accomplishments. But what if there's a beard creator for new characters in Destiny 2? How
So-
fucking torn am I going to be?
Unbelievably.
Like, am I going
To
to delete that
expand on that,
character?
like a little bit, Destiny 1's character creation wasn't that in depth at all. So
Very little.
we are keeping the way that we look, but I'm hoping we can go see a barber.
I want
Right.
a tattoo.
Yes.
I want to be
And
able
we
to
can
get
change the way we look a little
when you
bit.
if you've done all the moments of triumphant stuff from Destiny 1 and 2, in Destiny 1, and in Destiny 2 you can get a unique tattoo,
That'd be cool.
I'd be down.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Or how
So
about
everybody
like
recognize
like
you
a
as an
halo that's a
ancient.
mobile like a baby would have above their crib that just it's hanging down with all your achievements from Destiny 1?
And instead of the blue glowy flames from Nightfall, you just have all your achievement things just swirling around your face at all times.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
It's my blend.
I hope they have some sort of customization thing because I would be very sad. I mean, I'm basically going to delete my characters if that's the case. If they're like, sorry, your poorly customized character from the beginning is coming forward into Destiny 2, even though there's all these other customization things
I
available.
was pissed. I wanted to make an African American Titan, right? Male
Oh,
Titan.
you know what?
And there was
Hopefully-
very little to do. Like, there was no black skin. Like, there was like black, kind of black skin. There's no black skin. And then there's, the the types of like African American hairstyles were just like two. You either had like an afro or like it was just stupid. I mean,
when there's an afro, you always go afro.
It's just like either dreads or either cornrows or or there's bald and that's it. And it was just kind of like, come on,
Listen.
man.
There wasn't much customization.
No.
We need something. We need, like, when we load into Destiny 2 for the first time, they should be like, do you want to change your character? Here's all the options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean,
And then you get
in Mass
keep your
Voice,
honors.
beard. Yes.
Yeah, so
You
like,
can customize a lot in Mass Effect.
I wouldn't doubt that system would be in place in some way.
I would love to have
I
a
hope.
barber, where you can just go in and at any time change your appearance. How many Destiny 1 players are out there right now who thought they'd be playing this for a month, made the ugliest fucking character they could, got hooked on the game, and have this, like, retarded-looking Guardian running around for the last 3 years,
Well, they were really bummed out up until, what was it, like a year later, they added the put your helmet on in the social space?
Yeah.
Because for the first year, you had to show your face and be like,
Yeah, you have to.
yeah, I did this. Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Have we discussed everything? I think we discussed.
I think so.
Think so?
I think we discussed everything that needed to be discussed about
The next thing
this.
we're looking forward to is
The 8th? Was
March
that what
8th.
it was?
So 5 days from now,
Wednesday.
Yep.
Wednesday, March 8th.
guys.
So
Those are gonna start happening.
Wednesday.
I'm going to be in
Yeah.
Seattle on Wednesday. Absolutely no relation to the reveal stream. I planned this trip. I planned this trip before that was even going to be known. Looking at apartments and everything. So sweet.
Who
Yeah.
here believes him?
Well,
Anybody?
we'll be doing
I don't believe him.
the regularly scheduled podcast on the Thursday after each of these reveal streams.
Yep.
And they're going to be hitting hot and heavy. We're going to get 3 of them, one a week for the next 3 weeks. And that
great.
should be very exciting.
Content.
It's gonna be a lot of fun for you guys.
Like
Make
I
sure
said,
you
it's
tune
the
in.
countdown.
The final countdown.
We are now getting in the car. Hope Bear.
Yes,
Watts
right?
fucking nailed it
Guys,
yesterday, by
yeah,
the way.
exactly. We need to say Watts had the perfect analogy.
Nailed
It
it.
really did happen.
All right, who's driving right now?
Also,
Watts is driving.
Watts is driving.
Also,
honestly.
also, I want to say that my conspiracy theory about Cosmo's X-ray leaking that characters would transfer over, completely correct.
Also, what about if Cosmo's toe thing was a hint to the Vex leg?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. See,
Yes.
So many.
I was
so many
on some
hidden
next
things.
level shit there.
You were. You were.
I don't know if there's
Analytics.
actually
Maybe you
any
should listen to our
correlation
Cosmos,
there.
man.
I don't know, Patrick. You better get that tinfoil hat out.
What do they say about a dog's ass and the sun hitting it twice a day?
A broken clock's right twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just saying, I was
I don't
right,
know.
and that's all that matters. Thank
haven't
you for
heard that.
tuning in to the special edition of the Destiny Community Podcast. If you want to find more of me, I am Holtzmann at Holtzmann_YT on Twitter.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter at the Briar Rabbit. You can find me on YouTube and the Briar Rabbit channel or streaming on Twitch. Just look up Briar Rabbit.
Tefty Teft, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. Catch the streams I do on twitch.tv/Tefty Teft. And catch my past broadcasts on my YouTube channel, Tefty Teft.
I'm Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Miss 5000 Watts.
And this has been Popear. You can find me trying to troll all of these guys in their streams and watching
Literally,
me
like today.
fail miserably. Absolutely. Yeah, I was trolling Briar and Patrick, and then Briar goes over to Patrick's streams and says, "Don't listen to Pope." Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Popear. And thanks, guys, for tuning in. I know this is a Friday and
Spur of the
2 times
moment
in a
thing.
week. Yeah,
Spirit
it's
of moment.
good.
Don't get used to it.
See you next week. Same time.
We did take. I did ask for Twitter questions today. I'm sorry we didn't take any. We took them just in case we needed them at the end. They did influence the conversation, but we're not going to read them out.
Yep.
Thank you all who submitted the questions, though.
Yes, thank you very much.
We'll see you at the same time that we normally see you
Thursday.
on Thursday.
On
next
Thursday.
6
week.
p.m.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.